On April 4th, 2023, right before sunrise in London, a loud crash breaks the quiet. Bang! Police, open the door. Armed officers burst through the entrance. A groggy suspect finds himself facing the muzzle of a rifle. Simultaneously, similar operations kick off in 17 nations worldwide. FBI teams raid a flat in New York. In Sydney, officers smash through a doorway. This marks a coordinated international crackdown. Codenamed Operation Cookie Monster, it's aimed at Genesis Market, a shadowy online platform linking all these perpetrators, often dubbed the eBay of pilfered personal info. More than 100 captures are expected in the coming hours. Yet the bigger puzzle remains: how did a single illicit site turn into the premier hub for cybercriminals globally? And what made it require such an elaborate, army-like effort to dismantle? The origins trace back to 2018. Hackers everywhere were hitting a snag. Stealing a password no longer guaranteed smooth access to accounts. Increasingly, platforms demanded two-factor authentication, or 2FA, those verification codes texted to your mobile. Even with correct credentials, intruders would trigger alerts. Quote 1 for cybercriminals. Infiltrating systems was turning into a tougher challenge. Around then, an exclusive dark website surfaced discreetly, promising a breakthrough fix, known as Genesis Market. At a quick look, Genesis's page seems deceptively straightforward. A clean layout with search functions and sorting options, much like a standard e-commerce platform. Except it doesn't peddle gadgets or novels. It traffics in something far darker: full digital personas. These go beyond mere usernames and passcodes. Genesis delivers comprehensive data bundles scraped from malware-ridden machines worldwide. Once a user's device gets covertly hit by malicious software, it stealthily gathers fragments of their online existence: stored credentials, session cookies, browser signatures, and hardware identifiers. Genesis bundles this haul from a single machine into what's termed a _2. Every bot packs the essentials for mimicking a person digitally: email details, financial accesses, cookies, and device profiles. The market auctions these off to the top bidder, frequently at bargain basement rates. On Genesis, a complete stolen profile might fetch only a handful of bucks, cheaper than a latte at times. A UK-based bundle could dip below $1. Fancier options, like a high roller's finance credentials or a corporate account collection, rarely exceed a couple hundred. The platform's creators went out of their way to simplify browsing for shoppers. Hunting for Canadian banking details or French crypto wallets? Genesis allowed sorting by location and category. It functioned as an all-in-one depot for identity fraud, resembling an online marketplace where crooks could load up a basket with swiped personal histories. Business exploded. By 2019 and 2020, Genesis buzzed through the underworld grapevine. Hackers on underground boards discussed it with a mix of caution and awe. Its members-only access lent an elite vibe. Some shelled out for invites via referrals. The site's overseers, thought to hail from Russia, stayed under the radar while amassing more inventory. They promoted subtly on Russian-speaking channels, enlisting additional coders to feed in compromised info. Every fresh malware strike translated to another bot available on Genesis. Another unwitting individual whose online self had been duplicated without their knowledge. Stealthily, Genesis evolved into a leading force in global cybercrime. Still, the average person remained oblivious. It operated in the depths, and, curiously, somewhat openly too. Genesis maintained a presence on the regular internet via Clearet, beyond just the dark net, though entry still required an invitation. That was the sheer audacity of it. A sprawling hub of digital plunder concealed by a basic sign-in, practically taunting law enforcement. For years, it evaded detection. During that span, Genesis equipped countless offenders with the means to pose as everyday folks online. As Genesis gained traction, its users grasped its potential. Before long, they'd exploit it in manners that rattled the core of online safeguards. But precisely how do these pilfered persona packages operate? And what mischief could a crook unleash armed with some cookies and logins? To grasp the shift Genesis brought, imagine stepping into a hacker's mindset. Alex, a low-level crook who's gained entry to Genesis, drops a small amount of Bitcoin on a bot, a data set swiped from a victim named Sarah. This bot hands Alex all the tools to masquerade as Sarah virtually: her credentials, preserved cookies, and her gadget's unique digital trace. With Genesis-supplied software, a tailored browser named Genium plus an extension, Alex imports Sarah's hijacked data into his setup. In an instant, it's as if he's commandeered her computer. As Alex navigates to Sarah's banking site, the platform welcomes him warmly, treating the entry as if it's from a familiar user, since everything matches Sarah's setup from the bank's viewpoint. Identical browser type, matching device details, and a legitimate cookie signaling an active session for Sarah. No need for a password entry, no verification prompts, no two-factor codes, just seamless entry. Within moments, Alex gains full access to her account without ever learning her credentials or interacting with her device. He swiftly sets up a money transfer straight to his own accounts. Picture this through Sarah's eyes. She's fast asleep in her California home, oblivious to it all. Her mobile stays silent without any verification notifications. No warnings pop up about unusual activity because the bank's detection systems see it as merely extending Sarah's ongoing connection. Nothing new or suspicious. Only after she stirs awake and spots the depleted balance does the reality hit. But by then, the damage is irreversible. The perpetrator has vanished into the ether. Scenarios like these unfolded repeatedly, all fueled by Genesis. Offenders like Alex weren't required to possess advanced hacking expertise. The platform simplified stealing digital assets to a mere click and drag process. What enabled this? It all hinged on those cookies and digital fingerprints. A cookie acts as a tiny data file that sites employ to recall your presence, functioning like a pass that skips the sign-in routine. Meanwhile, a browser fingerprint gathers specifics about your hardware, operating system, browser version, and more. Traits often distinctive to each individual. Typically, these elements aid in confirming genuine users. Yet when crooks acquire them, it's akin to hijacking your virtual persona. They don a flawless online mask, slipping undetected beyond safeguards that include multi-step verification and anti-fraud protocols. Put simply, the intruder skips, breaking your password code or infiltrating your gadget. The real jackpot is your preserved authentication session. Genesis Market basically commoditized stealing identities. Craving entry to some unknown person's email inbox for pocket change? Genesis probably offered an automated tool for it. Eyeing infiltration of a business's infrastructure? Browse the bazaar for staff authentication data. Take one instance. A guy in New York shelled out roughly $100 in cryptocurrency on Genesis to snag 21 pilfered identity kits from as many victims. With that haul, he swindled more than $25,000 from public assistance schemes until authorities nabbed him. The platform slashed the entry requirements for online offenses dramatically. Even novice scammers could now impersonate countless personas across the web. Officials from the FBI labeled Genesis a vital booster for extortion networks, allowing attackers to expand operations at unprecedented speeds. Why bother with deceptive emails or breaching corporate walls when you could purchase a worker's authentic session token from Genesis and Waltz through the main portal undetected? By 2022, Genesis boasted listings of tens of thousands of such tools available around the clock. The marketplace advertised holdings of over 80 million login details, harvested from upwards of 2 million everyday folks. These weren't high-profile targets like executives or tycoons. Regular individuals sufficed. If your machine fell prey to the improper software infection, your profile could wind up auctioned off there. This sparked a stealthy surge in violations. Like Sarah, the majority of those affected remained unaware until the aftermath unfolded. Confidence in standard protections began to crumble. When that familiar lock symbol and your login details fail to guarantee exclusive access, what truly does? This dilemma began troubling not only those harmed and digital defense specialists, but also international policing bodies. Genesis had swelled beyond dismissal, and the worldwide damage it inflicted expanded relentlessly. Yet the wrongdoers weren't alone in monitoring its rise. From the fringes, worldwide sleuths were gearing up for a counteroffensive, one befitting the platform's moniker. Come late 2022, red flags were rising in digital offense divisions globally. Accounts of intruders accessing profiles sans any alert triggers were accumulating. Analysts saw the pattern. These weren't random events. They all traced to Genesis Market. The FBI, Europol, and forces from various nations discreetly assembled a coalition aimed at dismantling it. They dubbed the initiative Operation Cookie Monster, a cheeky reference to the prized commodities, browser cookies, being swapped, hinting at their intent to devour the whole enterprise. Shutting down Genesis proved no simple task. It lurked behind registration walls and access invitations, with its managers acting cautiously, probably nestled in a region beyond easy Western jurisdiction. Success demanded ingenuity and cross-border teamwork. The probe kicked off by tracking financial flows and harmful code. Since Genesis's stockpile stemmed from malware deployments, specialists backtracked those viruses to their origins. Early in 2023, officials brought in assistance from industry cybersecurity pros. Companies such as Trellix were brought in to examine Genesis's malware and underlying systems, searching for vulnerabilities or unique markers that might point to the culprits. Meanwhile, intel agents and covert operatives pushed to infiltrate the platform directly. The precise methods they employed remain classified, yet the pivotal breakthrough occurred when the FBI secured duplicates of Genesis Market's backend servers. In a single move, law enforcement gained entry to the site's user database, a treasure trove detailing the buyers and sellers who'd operated there. Officials revealed that the captured systems held details on roughly 59,000 user profiles, along with their transaction records. The very information criminals believed would shield their anonymity now belonged to authorities. Drawing on these files, probes started revealing the true people behind the online handles. They uncovered participants spread worldwide, ranging from petty scammers to high-level organized crime players, all frequenting Genesis's dark web stall. As the suspect roster expanded, the snare tightened. Operation Cookie Monster advanced to its concluding stage, orchestration. This was a worldwide jigsaw spanning almost every time zone. Secure video conferences linked agencies across Europe, North America, and Australia as they plotted a vast, timed assault, guaranteeing that suspects in various nations would face action simultaneously to block any heads-up. Such timing demanded flawless accuracy. Forces in each involved country assembled takedown squads, obtained search warrants, and readied digital forensics teams to grab proof from targets' devices. The global crackdown was scheduled for early April 2023. The team had just one opportunity. A single leak to Genesis's handlers could prompt them to shut down, flee, or alert their clientele to go dark. Fortunately, the veil of secrecy over Operation Cookie Monster stayed intact. In the pre-dawn quiet of the selected date, operatives monitored closely, ticking down to the instant they'd unleash the net on countless oblivious digital offenders. Success hung in the balance. They'd soon see. Moments before sunrise on April 4th, 2023, the operation ignited. Across scores of urban centers from London to Los Angeles, teams launched coordinated busts, surprising Genesis Market patrons entirely. Overall, officials conducted about 200 raids and secured nearly 120 detentions across the planet. The action rounded up hackers of every kind, including top vendors on Genesis and avid purchasers of pilfered info. One authority figure described it as the biggest effort ever against marketplaces trading in compromised login details. Simultaneously, the platform's framework was being torn apart. Those accessing the standard entry page encountered not the usual sign-in, but a blunt advisory. A header bearing the FBI emblem alongside emblems from law agencies in 17 nations. The domain had been confiscated. The declaration was unmistakable. Genesis Market was shut down for good. Its web addresses now fell under official oversight. The hub that once peddled breach data from over 1.5 million hacked machines had vanished, erased within hours. For the myriad cybercriminals dependent on it, alarms spread rapidly. Too many grasped only then that they'd stepped right into the snare. Their profiles and dealings were exposed to the authorities, with enforcers now knocking at their thresholds. By every measure, Operation Cookie Monster triumphed. We've badly shaken the illicit online crime network by eliminating a vital supporter, declared the head of Europol's cybercrime unit with satisfaction. Quote 4, analysts observed that without Genesis Market, illicit digital operations would face a serious slowdown, if only temporarily. In the wake, authorities and cybersecurity outfits launched online tools allowing individuals to verify if their personal details appeared in Genesis's records, highlighting the widespread impact on everyday people. Notably, the busts failed to capture Genesis's ringleaders. No top boss was led away in restraints. The U.S. Treasury had previously indicated that the site's managers, probably based in Russia, and sure enough, none of the detainees proved to be the proprietors. The main figures evaded capture, though their enterprise suffered a fatal strike. After half a decade in operation, Genesis Market as known was kaput. For the forces of justice, Operation Cookie Monster marked a pivotal win that strangled a primary channel for purloined data. Still, the affair rang a larger warning bell. It laid bare the brittleness of our online protections against such perils. Genesis was history, yet the weaknesses it preyed upon lingered exposed. And there lies the true peril. Although Genesis Market, the dark web's go-to marketplace for pilfered personal data, has vanished, its shadow serves as a stark reminder for everyone. This platform revealed the evolving landscape of online criminality. Yet, imagine the chaos when teenagers, rather than seasoned hackers, infiltrate massive corporations. Discover the story of how a 17-year-old spilled details on Grand Theft Auto 6 with nothing more than a Fire TV stick. Tap here to find out.